Where are you sending us?
Well, this is a fun one.
Streaming July 23rd on Paramount+, the hit series Star Trek Strange New Worlds returns.
You are facing the finest crew in Starfleet.
Boldly go one step closer
Any of these missions could be on Ost.
to where it all began.
We've seen a lot of strange new worlds, but we'll never see something like this.
Star Trek Strange New Worlds. New season streaming July 23rd exclusively on Paramount+.
Hey, podcast listeners. Mr. Ballin here to let you know we are now publishing 4 times a week on my podcast, Mr. Ballin Podcast, Strange, Dark, and Mysterious Stories. That's right, you'll be getting 4 new episodes a week covering unbelievable mysteries, chilling true crime, and stories so strange they sound made up. But they aren't. They're all true. Don't miss an episode. Listen to and follow Mr. Ballin Podcast, Strange, Dark, and Mysterious Stories wherever you get your podcasts or on YouTube.
There's no place to escape to.
This is the last podcast.
On the left. That's when the cannibalism started.
What was that?
Hello, buddy. Hey there, friend. I'm proper chuffed to show you my new motorbike. Take a look at it. You like it? This is Yorkshire.
That's Yorkshire?
It's proper chuffed. That's pretty good.
That's a proper chuffed.
Check out my motorbike here. I'm proper chuffed. And I'll tell you what knows nice about having a bit of a motorbike. I'll see something super manly I can do with it. I bet you think I can't do something super manly?
I don't know.
With my motorbike?
You probably could.
I'm becoming Australian. God damn it! I gotta hold this together. I gotta see if I can get this together once before we even begin the episode. Okay, Yorkshire. Take a look at my motorbike.
Take a look at my motorbike. That's the sentence that you want to practice with?
Take a look at my motorbike. I can do the most masculine thing with it you can even imagine. Just drape my wing over the seat. Is that good?
That's really good. Welcome to the last podcast on the left, everyone. I am Ben, staring at the face of Marcus Parks.
Hello.
New York Times best-selling author.
Flutter in the tummy.
Yes! Can you feel the power? Yes!
We did it. We beat Glenn Beck.
We did.
No one said it wasn't possible, but we said, sure, we can.
We beat his bulk by an ass.
Yeah, we did.
And then, of course, we got Henry Zabrowski, who, this episode, man, everyone's like, why is he working on the Yorkshire accent? Is that right?
You can't even say Yorkshire.
Is it Yorkshire?
It's Yorkshire. It's Yorkshire.
Yorkshire.
I've got a bit of a salamander down in my pocket. Isn't it nice? I think it goes from Mrs. Doubtfire to Chimney Sweep, and I have no control anywhere in the middle of it.
Did you take, the pedophile's linguistic class? To, what are these sentences? You're talking about a bicycle, and then you have a salamander in your pocket?
I've got a salamander in my pocket. Do you want to pay a nickel to take a look at it?
That's your penis, sir.
Yes. No, and there goes the crime. There shites the crime.
All right, so today's episode, this will be a 2-parter, but the first part of the Yorkshire Ripper. Did I say it right?
No, not Yorkshire. It's Yorkshire.
We won a war, so I don't have to say this right. That is all. The Yorkshire Ripper.
Peter Sutcliffe, a.k.a. the Yorkshire Ripper, was an English serial killer who murdered 13 women and tried to murder 7 others, mostly in West Yorkshire between 1975 and 1980.
But why do I imagine Yorkshire as a place where, like Hobbiton? It's got little cute houses and people make their own milk bread and people, they tom their carpets with a bit of a swigger. I don't know what that means. You know what I mean? I assume it's a lot of people, fishing with sticks with just pieces of rope on them.
Yeah, I sort of have a Disney fantasy when I hear Yorkshire. It's kind of nice. I mean, I'm not picturing, the best food, but I'm picturing a lot of it in the windows.
We've driven through it.
Oh, yeah.
What was it like?
Tell us, Daddy, what was it like?
It was very pastoral. It's a beautiful area of England outside of the cities. The cities themselves, though, not quite so beautiful. Very urban, a lot of grit, very industrial.
Cool.
Is it just because they ran out of magic?
Well, for the most part, Sutcliffe's victims were casual sex workers. And true to form, it wasn't until Sutcliffe killed someone outside of the sex work business that the investigation went from a tabloid screamer to one of the biggest manhunts England ever saw.
When you say casual sex worker, I just picture them all dressed like Best Buy employees. Just like it's a nice casual khaki with a nice, not too flashy red top.
We are seeing the rise of the casual sex worker with OnlyFans. That's what it is now.
Well, Peter's method of murder was multiple hammer blows to the head, followed by the mutilation of the victim's body. And while he was not quite as intricate as Saucy Jack, these mutilations were still brutal enough to earn the Ripper label.
I'd say that his MO was one of the more idiosyncratic types of killing styles of any serial killer that I have read about in the past, where besides Richard Chase, he was just the Ralph Lauren of putting a baby in a blender. He really came up with that in a dream. I don't know how he Steve Jobs that.
Not to say, are you describing Richard Chase as idiosyncratic?
I would say that, right? He is very particular.
Well, so this is kind of interesting. So he would bludgeon them with a hammer, which is not exactly taking a scalpel.
No.
But then he would do the dismemberment. So was he sort of like... Is that sort of like a hodgepodge of different styles, for lack of a better term, of killing?
Well, we'll definitely get into Peter Sutcliffe's MO and exactly what it means.
Okay.
Now, further linking him to Jack the Ripper was Sutcliffe's habit of arranging the dead bodies of his victims to achieve maximum revulsion on the part of those who found them, as if finding a dead body wasn't bad enough.
He would put a New England Patriots jersey on them.
Kissel, sports are canceled. All right, so you need to talk about in very specific other terms. It's like he was wearing a
Comic-Con is also canceled.
Go fuck.
We have nothing. But you know what's not canceled? Dune. Which I'm going to start reading soon.
Yeah, it's like wearing a Harkonnen family shroud.
Of course. A natural reference we all get. But despite the extra time spent with each body, it still took UK police 5 years to catch Peter Sutcliffe, owing mostly to the fact that the Yorkshire Ripper case is quite possibly the most bungled serial killer investigation of all time.
Worse than the Hot Dog Squad?
Much worse.
Really?
The Hot Dog Squad, at least, they were trying. They did okay. The Hot Dog Squad wasn't as bad as all that. Hot Dog Squad, of course, being the people who investigated the BTK murder. That was a failure of the people up top. The Yorkshire Ripper case was a failure all the way through.
They named themselves after ballpark condiments.
It truly was from the balls up. They really, it's just in a fun, stiff upper lip way, they cocked this up so hard it might as well have been fucking Meghan Markle. How about that?
Well, speaking of names, just to give you an idea.
Yeah, speaking of names.
No, seriously, this absolutely works. Speaking of names, just to give you an idea of what the investigators thought even of themselves, one of the task forces assigned to stop the murders called themselves the Special Homicide Investigation Team, which, in acronym form, was known as the Shit Squad.
They call themselves the Shit Squad. And because, their big thing was, we ain't coming to work if we ain't got a bucket of beans waiting for us. Mm-hmm. So they were chock full of beans, but not chock full of police training.
Hey, Larry, we got to get out of this bank, man. I think the Shit Squad is coming. I think they're going to be onto us. We got to get out of here quick.
Hey there, Constable Harrison. Stop farting so audibly. I'm sorry, Magistrate Liverpool. I forgot me cock. No, your cock is attached to your front. No, I'm talking about the coke that goes inside me butt. Oh, you mean coke.
New York Times best-selling author. Technically, all three of us. Amazing.
Peter Sutcliffe himself was interviewed no less than 9 times over the course of the 5-year-long investigation. But for a number of reasons we'll get into, Sutcliffe was not taken seriously as a suspect until he was caught red-handed. Partly, that's because Peter Sutcliffe was nothing special, at least at first glance. As far as the police were concerned, Sutcliffe just really loved paying for sex, but was otherwise just another unhappily married working-class Yorkshireman.
But we found out he felt the exact opposite about paying for sex. He actually didn't like it at all.
Oh.
What do you mean, aw?
Well, it's sad when people do things they don't like.
No, that's why he did what he did, Kissel. No, it's not a disappointing thing. It's not
It
like...
was a little
You looked at a picture of Peter Sutcliffe?
I have seen him, yes.
His hair alone should have attracted any woman that he wanted. Who else could possibly turn themselves into an Italian Gumby? He looks like if Danny Zuko played Eraserhead. Women should have been flocking to him just to see how crispy the square was on the top of his head.
Well, but I don't think it's about
him.
that. I don't think it was about that. It was about the experience. He didn't want to feel like he was cheating on his wife. He thought paying was better than having an affair.
You're the opposite. You're completely incorrect.
Yeah, you're completely incorrect. You are.
I don't know.
That is the truth is opposite.
It is opposite.
What does that even mean anymore? Nowadays, I see people are eating pizza from the crust first, which I thought was pretty crazy.
That fucking idea started with Pizza Hut, and we've never been the same ever since. You mean to tell me we're going to break some of the few precious rules we have as a fucking society? So let's continue. I'm sorry.
I actually agree.
But underneath, Peter Sutcliffe was one of the most calculating, savage murderers in UK history, a pitiful beast who killed 13 women merely because it made him feel better about himself. Or, to put it in Yorkshire terms, he was a reet manky buck.
Right.
You just got us canceled. I don't know where we're canceled, but somewhere we just got canceled.
I tell you what, you got to right now. It's a hard time to go into the hospital for Reet Manky Burke. But if I'm saying if you're showing signs for Reet Manky Burke right now, call the hotline called 1-800-FUCK-TOE because it means your toes become horny.
Oh,
I don't know, man.
Well, that explains all the holes in my shoes.
Perhaps what's most interesting about Peter Sutcliffe, though, is that his story, from how he chose his victims, to his method of murder, to how he arranged the corpses, suggests that maybe the infamous Jack the Ripper of 1888 was just some guy. There was no conspiracies, there was no fucking Freemasons, no nothing. It could be that Jack the Ripper was just some dude.
Just
because
some
Peter
guy.
Sutcliffe was just some dude.
Or would you say it that way, the same way as the that fucking pig with the talking spider was just some pig?
Yeah, exactly. It actually had a talking spider for a friend who could write. I believe that's Charlotte's Web. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, Jack the Ripper was, my contention that he was three some guys. Mm-hmm. And then the worst thing is that I can't believe that the way that Peter Sutcliffe was discovered was actually just the cream of just some guy. Which is a very delicate Asian dish. And I can't believe...
Now that's New York Times best-selling writing right there.
Honestly, these are evergreen episodes that will live forever, but isolation has ruined us.
Yes.
But before we get into the story, let's acknowledge our sources. Today, we have Wicked Beyond Belief by Michael Bilton and Somebody's Husband, Somebody's Son by Gordon Byrne. For all the investigation and nasty details, go to Wicked Beyond Belief. But if you're more interested in the story of Peter Sutcliffe himself, and if you really want to go full Yorkshire, your best bet is Somebody's Husband, Somebody's Son.
Also, if you really want to go full Yorkshire, you rent a hotel room and you watch a sheep fuck your wife.
We fought a war for that.
So, without further ado, let's get into the story of Peter Sutcliffe, a.k.a. the Yorkshire Ripper.
So much cooler than Peter Sutcliffe. You know?
It is, unfortunately. It's one of the better serial killer nicknames in history.
Yeah, absolutely.
Peter was born to John and Kathleen Sutcliffe on June 2nd, 1946, in Bingley, which, according to Yorkshireman Neil, who helps us out with a lot of research, Bingley is a town within the city of Bradford. To give you a short sum up of Bradford, in the Industrial Revolution, Bradford was known as the wool capital of the world.
Absolutely fascinating.
I did not know that.
So it's also the capital of the world for itchy thighs.
That is a funny joke you've told here at this pub. Did you know that right over there, they used to make the wool?
Wow. You're my very best friend. And I'm going to have gay sex with you tonight.
That's a whole different kind of wool we'll be rubbing. It's our buttholes.
Yes.
By the 70s, though, when Peter Sutcliffe was active, Bradford was and still is known for urban grit combined with a strange countryside influence. Essentially, from what I've been told, Yorkshire, where Bradford is located, Yorkshire's pretty much the Texas of England.
Okay. From what I'm looking at Google pictures of West Yorkshire, and it looks lovely. It looks really lovely. You've got little castles there where I guess their king lives, their duke must live there, and then I see another kind of castle-looking thing, and I guess their archduke must live there, and this must be the prince's quarters, which is actually right next to a Jersey Mike's.
Okay.
Now, there really isn't a whole lot said about Peter Sutcliffe's mother in either of the books we read, but Peter's siblings described John Sutcliffe as a terrifying man with a hair-trigger temper who doled out beatings when he got drunk. But he was also known for being great at both football and cricket. He was a local actor, he loved ballroom dancing, and he was a soloist in the Bingley Male Voice Choir, while also having a healthy appetite for pig entrails.
He loved pig entrails.
Really?
That's the main thing the first thing that they said about his personality in Somebody's Husband, Somebody's Son, where they're like, he eats the trotters, he eats the wiggles, he eats the gumpos, he eats the crickenicks, and you're like, what's the crickenicks? And it's like, that's the tip of the bowl. You're like,
Really?
oh, great, he eats all that? That's great. That's the first thing you hear about somebody, which I get, because I'm a trafe person.
Yeah.
But if it's the first thing you hear is that, this is my buddy Dave, he fucking loves organ meat. You're like, cool.
Yeah, the things you eat should never be a personality trait.
Oh, no.
That's a little
He also
dangerous.
played in the Yorkshire Men's Choir. He also played he did the creepy door noises for the Halloween albums each year. He just went, Kunchun.
How much do you owe FSU for their theater program again?
I think I still owe them money.
Now, John was a healthy man all his life until his son Peter was born. When Peter was born, John started wasting away, almost as if the new baby was feeding upon his life force. In just 8 months, John Sutcliffe went from almost 200 pounds to just a little over 130. And Peter wasn't John's first child either. But if baby Peter was sucking away his father's life energy, the infant wasn't showing it.
Baby Peter was not sucking away his father's life energy. That is not the children do not have the ability to do that. Maybe his dad was more tired.
I have seen some people. There's some people that are super happy with raising their kids, and those people are Gwyneth Paltrow with a team.
Yeah.
She has a team of people. She's like, I love just having so much time at home with my kids right now. And then she never sees them.
No.
She's stretching her vagina in the background with her fucking, with some guy she met from Thailand. He's wearing a face mask, and the kids are being watched by a group of women from Guatemala.
Oh, very possible, very possible.
Well, Peter was always a weak and weedy child with baffling habits, always blankly scooting around the house on his ass with one leg sticking out front and the other dragging behind.
He's playing semi-truck.
I like how it feels on my balls when I do my friction splits.
You're draining my life force.
Peter was so weak that his father bought him a pair of reinforced leather boots so Peter could walk without breaking his own ankles.
I had to go to the children's kink store to get these.
And when Peter did walk, he'd usually do it while clutching his mother's skirt.
I don't like standing up. I like my noodle ankles being on the ground. I don't like going to school. And I don't like going to get me hair cut. I like me mommy.
Just cut to his father putting his own name on a bullet, putting it into a gun, just be like, one day, little bullet.
Well, because of this weakness, when Peter was eventually sent to school, he was mercilessly mocked for his skinny, underdeveloped legs.
Me mom says it's me magic shoes.
But Peter didn't react to the mocking at all and was so passive that none of his teachers nor any of his priests could put a face to the name after Peter Sutcliffe was arrested as the Yorkshire Ripper.
I guess if you're going to be a serial killer, it's not a bad trait to not be remembered at all. It's not like he was trying to be the prime minister or whatever they have in Yorkshire. But, I mean, if you're going to be a serial killer, being invisible ain't that bad.
It ain't.
Yeah.
Now, although you might think that Peter would be a gigantic disappointment to his footballer father, John actually believed his son to be extremely bright, despite Peter's grades being only average. This belief actually showed John's intelligence, because John reasoned that Peter must be bright because he spent all his time in the library.
Yeah, he's just got to be reading all day. He goes in there, he's reading, that's what nerds do. He's got skinny legs, so he's got to go in there with his books, and he hangs out with his books. But you can do a lot of things in a library.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm wondering, like, was he just taking 2 wooden blocks and jamming them up to his ears and be like, it's like headphones? And it's like, no.
No.
Just sitting there and staring in the distance.
That's all he would do.
He just went to the library so he wouldn't have to go outside.
I don't like going outside. I like the pleasure of the books, but I don't like reading them. I like looking at them. And I don't like my library card because I don't like things that are square.
And according to his sister, sometimes he'd just sit in the kitchen and just stare off into space for hours without moving or getting restless.
I mean, it's not easy draining your father's life force. You have to focus on doing it.
You just think that he would be getting bigger and stronger each month he went draining a life force out of his father, but he was just wasting all that energy. Weird. God knows what he was doing.
Yeah.
Well, at home, his particular fortress of solitude was the bathroom, where he'd shut himself away for hours on end. But he wasn't doing what most boys do when they lock themselves in the bathroom all afternoon.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, writing my manifesto. I'm going to take over the school.
Oh, is that right?
See, his brother Mick got curious as to what Peter was doing in the bathroom day and night.
Oh, tell me he put a camera in there. That'll be great.
That's a real curious brother.
He'd secretly watch him through the window.
Okay, who is crazy here? Who is crazy? All Peter Sutcliffe, at this point, all Peter's doing is hanging out in the library to not get bullied and trying to go to the bathroom to avoid his family, and his brother is peeping like it's the movie Porky's.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Jackie lived with me for a year. Can you imagine? Like this, like recently, the idea of
you did do that. You
like
made that happen.
What's even what she's doing in that room alone.
you just see pants go around her ankles and then just pounds of bush hair.
Fucking nailed her, man. Fucking got her, dude.
I'm sorry, Jackie. I just want to laugh.
Well, surprisingly, Peter was doing nothing more sinister than spending hours meticulously shaping his own hair, cutting the strands millimeters at a time.
This little kid was born with a full-on Mr. Cotter like pile of droops. That is the only way I can really put his haircut. He came out looking like he had stuck his finger in a fucking outlet. His hair stood straight up, and as a kid he understood, like, this is my thing. And so he clip it and clip it and clip it and clip it excessively till it became this very strange shape. If you look at it, if you look up Peter Sutcliffe, I think that's, you see him looking like a Greek landlord vampire.
Yeah, honestly.
Immediately. And he was like that since he was a kid. He's been walking around like that since he was fucking 9 years old.
He's got big hair confidence.
Mm-hmm. Now, at 15, Peter began his first of many English blue-collar jobs when he gained employment as an apprentice fitter at an engineering works in Bingley. All anyone at the job remembered, though, was that Peter was just some weird dickhead who usually wore the look of a frightened animal.
Wait a second, is this some kind of pipe? Is that a pipe that you got there? I don't like the shape. I don't like the shape. What is that? Is that it's a shovel? Oh, I don't like it. I don't like the shape of it, and I don't like anything. I don't like water either. Are you ghost?
He's like Jason Voorhees. And I am not going to sit here and come to the defense of Peter Sutcliffe.
But you're about to.
Now, what I'm saying is, so far, everyone's like, he wasn't noticeable. What do you want him to? It's a pipe fitting job. Do you want him to show up with a little twirly hat on and just be like, hey, guys, it's time to make the jokes? It's like, no, do your freaking job.
You're going to find out why he just didn't exactly fit in.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
But by 18, Peter began to come out of his shell when he discovered what should have been his first and only penis replacement. Peter...
What? Excuse me, what?
Peter became obsessed with motorbikes and cars, and he'd hold on to this obsession for the rest of his life.
He's one of those guys that somehow, even though he doesn't make any money, he's always got like a cool car, like a quote-unquote cool car. He's got the stepdad car. He's kind of got like my car, where women don't notice you, but other ugly dudes give you winks and like give you high fives and thumbs up as you drive along the street, as you listen to Howard Stern, just like going 75 miles per hour in a 30. Where he is like that, where I'm certain that if Def Leppard could have gotten to him, and I think that maybe he would have found a whole new lease on life.
Yeah, okay, so he's a cool guy. He's a cool stepdad. He's got the Trans Am, hip dude.
As he gets older, he reminds me very much of Buck and I'm Here to Fuck from Kill Bill.
Yeah. So in 1964, Peter briefly moved out of the industrial sector and got hired at Bingley Cemetery as a gravedigger.
So fast. Immediately into a serial killer profession.
Yeah.
Now possessing just the slightest bit of confidence, Peter, for the first time, made a strong impression on the people around him, although the impression was almost universally bad. One coworker named Billy Moore recalled that one day early in Peter's tenure at the graveyard, Peter was digging a grave near a wall the cemetery shared with a local grammar school.
That's a horrifying place for a school.
That's how England is. Man, I went to a lot of cemeteries out in England. They just plop them down in the middle of fucking any old place.
Always remember, kids, you're going to work until you end up in one of these. Have a good day in school.
It would be hard to focus on the studies when you realize it's all for nothing.
Yes.
You're just dead.
Now, I think Peter was either replacing one body with another or stacking coffins in the same plot, but it's hard to tell from the transcription of Billy Moore's account, because Yorkshire slang is fucking impossible to decipher. Let me just give you an example of Yorkshire slang.
All right, I'll try to figure it out.
Hey, by God, we were bronging about with his chuddy, faffing with some push-on, so I says to Sam up and skiff down to the pub for a snake lifter, but he just lets a catty guff and puts wood so I got his cack and fettled the gayness gaffer.
I don't need any decaf. I'm actually good. I'll just take a regular coffee. No, I have no idea what that was.
You know what, though? If you have about 7 Guinnesses, you automatically understand what that is. That's what Kissel and I sounded like in Dublin.
That is very true.
But at any rate, Billy Moore said that Peter was trying to find the coffin lid already in the grave with his shovel.
It involves a lot of that noise.
But he discovered that the top of the coffin had fallen in. Billy heard a yelp from across the graveyard and ran to find Peter standing there with the skull on his spade, shaking.
Look at this crazy meatball I found.
Yeah, it's art when Shakespeare does it in the park, but all of a sudden I'm a grave robber who has like a skull in my hand, not an actor. I think he could have been a thespian.
From what Billy said, though, nobody really knew for sure what Peter was ever thinking. They just knew they didn't like him. He said Peter's face almost never dropped a sneer of superiority. He always had this fucking little half smile that infuriated everyone.
Yeah, I dig graves. I also dig motorbikes.
Yeah, you're a pretty cool guy, huh? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's what I say.
Yeah.
I'm a pretty good guy.
Yeah. You know, they used to make a lot of wool around here.
No, really?
Yeah.
Here?
Right here, yep.
They made like a lot of wool?
A lot of wool. And you know where that comes from?
That is... I think I do know where that comes from.
Yep. Comes from sheep.
Sheep?
Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty cool guy.
Really? We're best friends now.
Well, Peter was also disliked because of his modesty. See, most gravediggers, they just piss right on the headstones. But the dainty Peter Sutcliffe would always run off to the bushes when he needed to relieve himself.
Because that's very polite to do, because why are they pissing on the headstones?
They're literally like, there he goes, thinking he's better than us, thinking he's all some kind of king of society. We piss right here where the dead are interned. And so they fucking just piss all over these very expensive tombstones. And just all over the bodies, just laughing at each other, man.
So
you gotta
he was
make yourself
weird.
laugh.
Okay, I'm starting to think that maybe the problem is the society that he's around. He wasn't desecrating the tombstones, so they're like, he's a little strange. What are you talking about?
I will say they didn't go on to kill 13 prostitutes. Only he did.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's a good point.
But the only person who was friendly with Peter was old Eddie Bishop. But that ended after Peter whacked him on the head with a mallet as Eddie was boarding up a coffin. And it's funny, that same sort of thing also happened with John Wayne Gacy. One day, John Wayne Gacy was with one of his employees in his garage and just hit him in the fucking head with a hammer.
So this was super impulsive.
Very impulsive.
And then he laughed it off like it was a joke. He did this like bit where he was like, what if I hit you on the head there with one of these? And then he's just like, oh, Peter, stop it. It's a hammer now.
Right.
Stop it then. He says like, whap! And then he just hit him a little too hard.
Yeah.
For it to be a joke.
Yeah.
I feel you. All right, yeah.
And then he had this fucking awful laugh.
And the problem is that I can't go into Israel Keys territory, but he definitely had like one of those like full on, and he loved to laugh.
He loved to laugh.
He did, huh?
Yeah. They said it was high pitched, and he would only laugh through his nose. Like,
Oh my goodness! It's like the Nasonex man.
yeah. But this wasn't Peter's only job in the death industry. He split his time between the graveyard and the local morgue, where he'd boost loot off bodies and offer the jewelry to his sister. And when she recoiled at the thought of where the jewelry came from, he'd give that same annoying nasal laugh.
You don't like... got southern. It's very strange. So, you don't like free jewelry, eh? Because that's what they used to talk about. He used to say, being like, all these fucking idiots going to this store getting their fucking jewelry. Well, I'll go right here. It's the fucking easiest job in the world. They're right there. They're dead, and they leave their jewelry on their fat fucking dead fingers. And he's like saying this to his friends very casually again and again, just how fucking lucky he was that he had this endless supply of free jewelry. And, you know, mostly they shook it off with the laugh, because it was a working class society. So, I mean, again, I think people they would take things with a gallows sense of humor.
Of course. I mean, the only other topic of conversation is wool. So you're telling me this guy's coming in here with some new bling and he got it off a corpse?
Yeah.
I'm here to hear the story. I want to listen to that tale, because if I hear about wool one more fucking time.
That is why you are true. You are a bar patron to your soul, where your job is to collect all of these various stories. This is how you explain this to whatever it is that your future wife has, when you have to explain why you're drinking every night, which I do all the time. I say, I'm an anthropologist. I just collect stories.
Now, Peter kept both jobs until 1967, but he was not fired for stealing jewelry off corpses or for attacking his fellow workers. Instead, he was thrown off the job because he couldn't show up on time.
But he said, you know me. That's his whole thing. He's like, I'm just one of those guys that just doesn't show up on time. And he acted like that was like normal. Like that was like a thing that some people just are. And in Los Angeles, you see it a lot, but I don't see it a lot in working class England.
In his defense, it was corpses that he dealt with. Where are they going? If he's 15 minutes late, it's like, that corpse.
What are we doing here?
You got to meet up with the other gravediggers. What am I doing? I'm waiting around for 30 minutes for Peter?
The first 30 minutes is just them taking dumps on tombstones.
He's expected to do that alone?
I don't. Honestly, I don't. That's a whole nother subculture I don't need to know about.
If you're shitting in graves is a two-man job, because you have to have a lookout for these fucking narcs. You're going to explain that somebody's putting a couple of dookies in the fishbowl.
I think it's a three-man job, because you do need someone to be like, That was a good plop.
Good plop. And then that's always the guy who's holding your hands. Because if it's too deep, you got to have your toes dug into the side soil where the wall of the grave, and then he's holding your hand so you can really get the shit down in there and pop out.
Why do you guys have to hold somebody's hands? Well, we lost Steve 3 years ago. He was taking a massive liquid shit in the grave. He fell in, and we never got him back.
It's summertime, baby. And you know what that means. You're going to go to Quince and you're going to get yourself some new clothes. Something happened to me by accident recently. I had a nice little Quince mistake. It was Father's Day, and we wanted to get Julie's dad something nice, so naturally we went to Quince. We looked around, and we were like, oh, look at this 100% organic cotton mesh stitch button-up sweater polo. I think Bob's really going to like this. So we get it, and we buy it, and then you know what happened? A little fudge, a little mistake. Accidentally sent it to our house instead of Bob's house. Julie's like, oh, I'll just get a refund from Quince and we'll mail Bob another one. I was like, oh, okay, that sounds nice. But, maybe I should just see it first. She pulls it out. I was like, whoa, look at that. It's like a button-down polo with nice little holes in it. It's breathable. It's not bad. I think I'm going to wear this to Jazz Fest this weekend. Wore it to Jazz Fest. Got 3 comments. One was by a lady. Not bad, Quince. So get your hiney over to quince.com and treat yourself good and feel good. Look good this summer. Make your summer wardrobe easier. Go to quince.com/last for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. It gets hot up there. That's QUINCE.com/last for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/last. Look like a prince in your Quince, you jerks. Hey there, everybody. Is your cell phone bill too much money? Are you getting that bill and you're like, hey, what is this? I can't believe for what? For 5G? Are you crazy right now? $100? I don't even barely got any bars when I'm just sitting in my living room, okay? You don't have to deal with that anymore. Are you ready for this? $15 a month. That's right, $15 a month on Mint Mobile. Yeah, baby. Get their wireless plan, because they're just sitting there on the T-Mobile 5G network, and it's just $15. Your whole life, you're just paying all this money every month. You're like, why? Where's it going? It's going to these phone companies that are robbing you. So go to Mint Mobile. Let them help you talk to your mom. So get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month. Go to mintmobile.com/LPOTL. That's mintmobile.com/LPOTL. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/LPOTL. That's it. There's no catch. Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, $180 for 12 months. Plan required, $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when the network is busy. Includes up to 20 gigabytes hotspot. Capable device required. Availability, speed, and coverage varies. See mintmobile.com.
It's obvious we love true crime, but it does make us feel a little paranoid about what's out there, as it should. And that's why it's so important to get a home security system that gives you peace of mind. With SimpliSafe, you can stop crimes before they even start using their AI-powered cameras to identify threats on your property and alert US-based live agents to take action. Like arriving in a helicopter in the night, coming down from the helicopter, zipping down and breaking through the windows with their big axes, and going through the house, ripping through the walls, finding the criminals. It's easy to do. SimpliSafe has been a game changer for us. And the best part, there's no long-term contract. We've used it since the very early days of SimpliSafe here at LPN, and it keeps us safe, doesn't it? It keeps all of our thoughts inside the building. Then there's the ones we let out because they have to go out, because that's a part of it. But SimpliSafe keeps the other thoughts safe. And for that, we say thank you, SimpliSafe. And we want you to experience the same peace of mind as we. which is why we've partnered with Simply Safe to offer an exclusive discount to all of our listeners. Right now, you can get 50% off your new system by visiting simplysafe.com/LPOTL. That's half off at simplysafe.com/LPOTL. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now, since this was 1967 in the UK, free love was definitely on the table for someone who was even moderately good looking.
I don't know why that's so disgusting. The idea of UK free love just does not... I don't think of hate and Ashbury. I don't think of, roses or petals in your hair.
They were hip, man. You've seen Austin Powers. Come on.
Yeah. Some of their teeth look like parallelograms, and some of them smelled like old sacks of beans, but they have the same spirit, and we came from them. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And by 1960s British standards, Peter Sutcliffe was moderately good looking. Yeah, he's fine.
That's one of the people that he injured. One of his attempted victims said a thing about Peter Sutcliffe, where it's like, he's got them big rooms come here eyes. He's handsome and he knows it. And then you look at him. And you're like, really?
Yeah.
Well, it's because also I remember the one story that he had is that he had a leather jacket that he wouldn't take off.
Yeah.
That no matter what the temperature was, he had this leather jacket, which everyone said made him look like they're like, he's a regular old Bobby Driscoll. You're like, I don't know that reference. They're like, oh well, then here's another one. He's a regular old Rupert Donovan. I don't understand.
Well, Peter was good friends with a guy named Keith Sugden.
Okay.
And Peter practically lived at the apartment shared by Keith and his girlfriend. One day, though, Keith said a girl who lived in the building threw herself across their breakfast table, naked, and offered herself as Peter's breakfast. 1967 UK free love right there.
That is disgusting.
Well,
full English.
What do you mean? What's he supposed to... Yeah, the full English? What do you do? I know that at cheesy-ass businessman strip clubs, they'll do the sushi.
Mm-hmm.
But what are you going to do? Fucking beans and toast on the bitch's nipples? What are you going to do? What are you eating? European food off of a woman on a table is so disgusting sounding.
An offer for sex, Ben.
It's
I didn't
sex.
mean...
Oh, she didn't want... It was not... I am thinking... Because I'm thinking, where are the beans going to go? I am actually thinking about food. Oh, she wants to have sex with him.
She wanted it. No, breakfast as in, offer herself as,
her vagina
her
is
vagina
the toast.
is, yes. Yeah, no.
Yeah, you fucking moron. You've been far away
he still
from
hungry?
touch.
Isn't he still hungry for breakfast?
I
that's the problem.
suppose she's not fucking, putting the tomato in her fucking asshole.
That's what I'm thinking because she put herself on the table. That's where food goes.
No. It was sex. It was sex. But Peter...
It ain't going to make you not hungry.
But Peter, instead of taking her up on the offer, or even just politely declining, he said nothing and only stared at the girl with disgust and something that looked a hell of a lot like hatred.
Because her butt cheeks is in the beans.
You have become the prude. I would love to see a couple of butt cheeks covered in beans.
This is strange. You've become quite prudish.
Let's just say we're at a beautiful steakhouse. We're getting ready. We're like, oh, can't wait to eat steak. And all of a sudden, a waitress comes and flails herself on the table and says, oh, I'm the food now. It's like, no, you're not.
Well, I know that I get food. I know eventually I will receive food. If I wasn't married, I would be like, all right,
what are you going to do?
Is the steak still coming? Is this a part of the thing or is this extra?
I don't know. Breakfast is a very important meal. That's all I'm saying.
Now, this girl had possibly tapped into what can be described as an almost pathological shyness. And of course, there's nothing wrong with being shy. But when Peter's shyness was confronted, he responded with an inner rage that would eventually manifest as something terrible. Now, he could always say hi to a girl, but as soon as the conversation progressed past that, Peter would turn silent and his face would go red, and eventually the girl would just walk away. Despite this, though, Peter Sutcliffe still peacocked his appearance.
Yeah, he did. He wears some outfits.
Yeah.
It is capital O outfits with this man every day.
I know for a fact I've lost women because I talked. So maybe this is a good technique. Just say hello and shut the fuck up.
You just shut up. You let them speak.
Shut up.
That's the idea, right? Let them speak. You pepper a couple of questions. They speak. His thing was, I think, came from a lack of understanding of women that slowly but surely turned into hatred of women. very, very fast, because for some reason he could not bridge the gap. He would attach himself. I think a lot of people know this. I've seen this type of relationship a lot in my life of, you know, like you got a single dude guy that has attached himself to another couple where he's sort of living vicariously through this couple. He's kind of, it's not like it's not full cuck, right? It's not that type of thing. But he's kind of living vicariously through this other couple and does not understand how to do it himself, and begins to also view anything else besides some idea of what a normal relationship is supposed to look at, mixed with now the burgeoning free love scene, which he cannot handle.
Right.
So instead of him being able to figure out what is it about me that's bringing out these feelings, why am I? He is reverting completely into total. I call it like a Frankenstein rage. I mean, mostly it's because of the hair.
So there's a difference between being quiet and listening. He was not listening.
No, not at all.
He was quiet, probably trying to figure out how to talk. Okay.
Yeah. Well, concerning his outfits, Peter Sutcliffe loved black suits with off-white drainpipe pants paired with Cuban heel boots and immaculately styled hair.
Oh, yeah. I can't forget that hair, man. That thing was dripping with product. But he also wouldn't wash, though. So he would reek. He was a very dirty man, but his clothes were immaculate for some reason. And it's wild, those big old pants. Yeah. Big old pants.
Kind of a man of the times, though, right?
Somewhat a man of the times, but he was like one of those guys that, like, those dudes that don't wash their asshole because they think it's gay.
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
got to.
What? I don't know any of those dudes, but yeah, it's one of my favorite moments of the day.
Yeah, it's like me saying hello to myself.
I use loofahs as well. It's quite pleasant. It is. Wow, I didn't think about that, but it really is saying hello to yourself first thing in the morning.
It is, but that's why. But you have to have a separate loofah. That's what I've learned.
New York Times best-selling authors talk about wiping their assholes with loofahs.
Yeah, because sometimes there's little ornaments left on the loofah that you want to spread to the rest of your hairs.
Interesting.
But just because Peter Sutcliffe's hair was immaculately styled does not mean that it looked good. One acquaintance, who found Peter to be an all-around unsettling person, said that his hair looked strangely square-shaped, like a dense black hedge. To make him even more unsettling, and this also kind of goes into his silent act, Peter would constantly tongue the 1/8-inch wide gap in his front teeth, and his bulbous, bloodshot, near-black eyes would constantly dart around the room, looking at everything except your face.
That became a very, to a point where it almost helped catch him. It's such a part of who he is that it's so specific, where his eyes would just dart around, because it seems like, in a way, he could not fucking tell you a straight fact if he wanted to. Like, he was such, like, kind of like a pathological liar, mixed with, like, constantly hiding his true self at all times, never being able to be real, to be able to connect.
It seems like he might be on the spectrum. He may have some kind of, because he's kind of a silent.
I don't know. I think he's just if you mean spectrum of assholes.
Yes. Okay. All right. I suppose so.
Peter also kept an immaculately styled beard, often trimming the soul patch area and his chin into 2 triangles that made it look like he was wearing a couple of hairy vaginas touching bottom tip to bottom tip on his face at all times.
The way I would use the word I would use for his facial hair was ambitious, because it showed a man of a certain discretion, that he felt that he needed to create a ravine in his flavor saver that I guess would hold old beer?
I guess.
And Peter wasn't necessarily an outcast, surprisingly, but he did do the type of shit that gave people pause. One night, he was at the pub wasted, lost in a weird trance, when suddenly he grabbed a glass and smashed it on the table, sending shards of glass flying across the fucking room.
No need to do that, Peter.
Yeah. So, in true British form, someone walked over and poured a pint on his head.
Woo!
It's the general British action for, you're being a dickhead.
Sure.
But Peter didn't react in any way whatsoever. Instead, he most likely went over to the jukebox and put on The Spider and the Fly by the Rolling Stones, which he sometimes played several times in a row. He was one of those guys.
I don't know if you guys had those in college. A friend that would like do something really outlandish and stupid to get attention.
Right.
But then act like he didn't do anything, right? So then he walks over and he basically does the fucking from Dirty Work where he's like, street fighting man. And then he would just go and put it on the fucking jukebox and then just dance alone by the jukebox, listening to his favorite song over and over and over again, which I guess you just don't get punched for at this point when you grow up with somebody.
Kind of seems like a Fonzie character in Happy Days if the score was by John Carpenter. There's something like I can
the black
see
leather
that he's
jacket.
I can see that he's trying to be the guy.
Yeah.
Smash the beer bottle.
The guy. He's the guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is that he's not the guy.
No,
he is
no.
the loser.
No,
and when you are desperately searching to be the guy, you eventually I think that the frustration of it can sometimes allow bad shit to get in there.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
This is what happens when a serial killer tries to be the guy.
Yeah. It's just not
and
working.
The Spider and the Flies, it's a fine Rolling Stone song. It's not one of the best.
Well, that's not the problem here, Marcus.
Yeah, man. It's no Start Me Up.
I mean, it's the B-side to Satisfaction. It's okay, but, you know.
It is not the problem here, Marcus.
Now, although Peter was, of course, the worst of the Sutcliffes, he wasn't the only one in the family with a violent streak.
Put it on my tombstone. The worst of the Sutcliffes.
His brother Mick was arrested for assault, robbery, and grievous bodily harm.
Ooh, damn.
Grievous bodily harm, it's a UK criminal code that essentially translates out to beating the fuck out of somebody as hard as you possibly can. It's the closest you can get to beating someone up without killing them.
Cool.
But it happens so much in England that they have a classification for it. Assault is pretty much getting into a fight. Grievous bodily harm is beating someone with the intent to almost kill them.
It's like what the little brother did in A Christmas Story when he finally got that fucking asshole.
Did.
Although they did do bad to the redheaded people, my people, they did make us to be bullies.
Well,
even though the redhead
he deserved it. When you are mean and have braces, that's what you get. You get smashed in the face.
Now, while Peter was, quote, the one who'd half choke on a boiled sweet watching his father perform Oklahoma, end quote.
Oh, you better not call me that again.
Mick was a big, robust, hard lad, and he was taller than Peter, despite being younger. And the contrast in masculinity was certainly not lost on Peter Sutcliffe.
He became kind of focused on Mick. Mick became the view of what the super uber heterosexual man is.
Okay.
So I think in a way, kind of like what Richard Ramirez he had a family member that he kind of formulated a picture of masculinity.
The uncle,
and like,
right?
This is how you're supposed to be. You're supposed to take no shit. You know, always like slap people in the face and you know, like be the guy.
Right.
Yeah. And not all serial killers are all about masculinity, but Peter Sutcliffe was definitely about masculinity.
Okay.
But it was Peter's sister Anne who had what might have been more of an influence on Peter Sutcliffe as a killer, although that influence was undoubtedly indirect. See, in 1966, Anne married a man named Trevor Stuckey and moved to a town called Morecambe.
Ah, yes, Morecambe. We have some of the best goop. We have.
You know, I tell you what, I'm really sad we moved to Morecambe from Lescombe.
Yeah, I'm drowning in it. I am drowning.
New York Times.
Yeah,
best-selling
authors there. Morecambe. You get it if you think about semen.
What was important about this concerning Peter was that Morecambe was the home of a low-rent Madame Tussauds-style wax museum called Louis Tussauds Waxworks.
So she named him after his fucking little person cousin. Little Louis. He likes wax, too.
This doesn't seem to be made of wax. Is this a cum Brad Pitt?
You know what they say? More come, mo come, mo problems.
Yeah.
And Louis Tussauds was known until its closing in 2014
Oh.
as the world's worst waxwork.
I would honestly, I kind of wish I could have gone.
I wish I could have
Yes.
gone too.
Who did he have? Like, what were the celebs of the time?
I mean, that's the thing is that they did have, I mean, up until 2014, you can check out online the way it looked, like all of the, like they had Prince Harry, they had all of the big British celebrities.
I remember they had Billy. That was like their big one. Was they got the new Billy Connolly in?
Okay, all right, they had some stars.
But as Gordon Byrne put it, all the heads were much too large for the bodies, making them look as if they had an unpleasant stunting disease.
They really do. I'm looking at these right now. Gordon Ramsay looks like he's on crystal fucking meth. This is the scariest wax museum I have ever seen. Oh my God, they made Adolf Hitler black. Straight up, he's like tan.
No, that's the thing. They made Prince William ugly, and they made Mr. Bean handsome.
I'm not saying they're wrong.
However, back in the 60s, the owner soon found that what got the public in the door was not Joseph Stalin in a lady's coat or Princess Margaret in a shitty wig, both of which were exhibits at the fucking wax museum.
I would have loved to take edibles and walk around this wax museum. Love it.
Dude, tonight, take some edibles, wait until they kick in, and then look up Louis Tussauds waxwork.
I'm going to do a virtual tour.
You're really going to love this. Some of these are very interesting. Because I guess The Guardian did a whole thing on the World's Wax Museum in pictures. Oh my God.
Well, what they found was what got the public in the door was blood and guts.
Cool.
Louis Tussauds had a chamber of horrors displaying Britain's most famous murderers in chicken wire cages. Killers like Dr. Crippen, hanged for dismembering his wife, or Reginald Christie, the Halifax necrophile.
Yeah, he fucking puts a bookmark in a corpse, and I mean his fucking dick.
That's crazy.
But even though there were plenty of graphic scenes like Murder in the Bath, Jack the Ripper, and my favorite wax museum horror piece, The Blood Hook, that's classic when it comes to wax museums.
What's the blood hook?
What is the blood hook?
The blood hook is either a woman or a man, can be either one, I've seen both, just with a hook through their torso, and they're hanging from the ceiling on a big fucking hook. Right. Yeah, most Chamber of Horrors and wax museums have them. Yep. I've seen good ones, I've seen bad ones.
That's why you had those hooks for the fucking wedding pictures, which I haven't even seen, Marcus. I haven't seen the wedding pictures yet.
I'm sending out the wedding pictures next week.
Fuck yeah.
All right.
Now I've said it, now I've got to do it.
Now you have to. It's not like you don't have a little bit more time anyway.
It's the same amount, I have the exact same amount of time as I did before.
Okay.
Well, what attracted Peter Sutcliffe the most to Louis Tussauds was the Museum of Anatomy. Over the years, Sutcliffe would return to the two small, dusty rooms tucked into the back of Louis Tussauds again and again, where the proprietors displayed an exhibition of Victorian waxworks meant to educate the lower classes on the dangers of brazen iniquity.
I mean, I don't think the lower classes need any sort of training on STDs. They're the ones who have them in Yorkshire at the time.
Well, at the time, because British, everywhere you go is this fucking school in British. And everything has to be some kind of proper set of etiquette and everything, all these fucking rules. So they created their validation of being like, it's educating them. That's why we can do all of these depictions of tits and vaginas and guts and all that kind of stuff. When in real life, they were just giving the people exactly what they wanted.
Right.
Well, these waxworks, similar to what can now be found at the House of Wax Bar inside Brooklyn Alamo, Brooklyn Alamo Draft House.
Yes.
It's a lot like that.
A little shocking, not going to lie. When you walk in there, you're like, I'm surprised. Like, I'll have the chicken fingers, and then you look up and you're like, there's a fetus coming out of that woman's fake vagina. Isn't that
It only
interesting?
makes me hungrier.
Very bizarre.
Well, in the first room at Louis Tussauds, the different stages of pregnancy were shown through a series of 9 headless, legless female torsos.
Got to. Heads and the legs, fucking honestly, are so distracting. I like just the torso.
They really were just This is just, it's made to fuck up the human brain.
Kind of is, yeah.
Yeah.
But what truly drew Peter Sutcliffe's attention was the second room. In there, Peter found dozens of models of sexual organs in various stages of venereal disease, pus-ridden vaginas, and penises in gray clouds of pubic hair appearing as so much of yesterday's half-eaten sausage.
Do not. I can see you getting erect as you write that sentence.
But I tell you what, you bake those into a fine cake, right? You have a pus-ridden vagina. That pus, though, a nice coconut cream. You've got the vagina made with a nice, like some kind of, what are those? It's like a velvet cake, a red velvet cake.
Ooh.
Well, now that is very tasty. Yeah, that's good.
Diseased scrotums were shown in cross-section, and one particularly graphic display showed the hand of a doctor reaching into an oozing vagina to grab a fetus covered in green scabs and running sores.
And then they had a thought bubble on the doctor, and it said, "Another day, another dollar."
Another day, another dollar. It was very interesting. What an interesting, because in the name of, I'll never forget the name of that display, The Birth of Baron Trump. It was so nice.
I love that. It's beautiful, beautiful. It's like the birth of Jesus Christ himself.
Well, speaking of Jesus, at the center of the display was a bust of a woman inspired by pictures of the Virgin Mary suckling the baby Jesus. But in this case, the bust nipples were discolored and encrusted with scabs, and the breast was covered in burning sores and hives.
It sounds like she wasn't a Virgin Mary.
I don't know what happened there. That ain't no way to depict the Virgin Mary. That ain't right.
Now, Peter Sutcliffe paid close attention to these displays, and when he later contracted VD multiple times from various ladies of the night.
Okay, did he show up with a fucking monocle? What do you mean? Like, how was he taking all of this in? And at some point when you run the wax museum...
Yep,
yeah?
did that, want that, gonna do that one, gonna do that one. Yeah, you use it as homework.
Yeah.
Just the janitor here. Mr. Sutcliffe, I got to turn the lights off once again. Time for you to go home.
He'd go again and again and again and again. He loved it there. It was his favorite place on earth.
Hey, buddy, how about you go home? Give me the mop.
Yeah?
Yep.
You want to be the janitor here?
You just got fired. I just got hired.
But the thing was is that when Peter started contracting VD, it seemed like he felt almost proud for knowing exactly what he'd contracted. One time, he called up his friend Keith Sugden. He hadn't talked to Keith in 2 years, but he wanted to specifically show Keith his diseased penis because Peter's bell end had gone all white and flaky.
That's what I'm saying. He's the John Carpenter Fonzie. He's like, look how much pussy I'm getting.
Hey, look at all go. Yeah, look at that. I'm making my own Parmesan.
It's disgusting.
Hey, ain't that fun? Ain't that nice? God.
I guess it is good that he realized that he had a venereal disease.
Yeah, and Sugden just said, like, you need to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah. But surprisingly, Peter Sutcliffe's obsession with waxworks depicting the worst of Victorian VD did not prevent him from eventually finding a wife.
No, technically, that's our fan base.
Yes. I mean, there is a fantastic book called The Sick Rose. If you guys want to see some really cool, like, Victorian, like, medical drawings, that really goes into VD, like, really fucking deep.
Yeah,
and the drawings are beautiful.
Yeah, if you guys want to see some really cool stuff, and then you guys can maybe come over to my place after school, and I got some new magazines.
Marcus, love you on the podcast, but I don't know if I want to go into your home. Because you seem to be, you said you haven't gone to the store for 2 weeks, but you have all this fresh Parmesan.
Yeah. Hey, Rodney, remember you said you could come over to my house last weekend, but you said you got too busy, but I got new magazines. You want to come over?
It's going to have to be passed from me, dog. This reminds me of when Marcus and I went to the fucking, what was that, in medical, what was the museum we went into in Edinburgh?
The museum, we went with Neil. Neil took us. I think it's the Museum of Medical Oddities or, nothing like that.
Is it like the Mutter Museum for the...
It was much classier than the Mutter Museum.
Let me look it up before I
It was super
talk
classy.
About it.
But if you guys want to check out a cool book right now, The Sick Rose, Disease and the Art of Medical Illustration by Barnett Richard is a wonderful thing to read.
Oh, yes. We went to the Surgeons Hall Museum
Surgeons
in
Hall
Edinburgh,
Museum.
where we went, and it was just jars and jars and jars and jars of fucked up pussies.
You know,
Marcus loved it.
If I
Marcus
loved
it. He really loved it. I got sick. I honestly was feeling very sick.
Does it smell like formaldehyde, like the Mutter Museum? Because I went in there hungover after our show in Philly, and that is ugh.
No, it doesn't smell like formaldehyde.
Okay.
Yeah, afterwards, I went out, had a meat pie with Neil. It was great.
Yeah, guys, my mom said I could have 4 friends over tonight, but I told her that I don't know. I'll have to make some hard decisions because so many people want to come over.
Marcus, we're gonna go home and just watch some just normal comedies. Okay, we're gonna watch things that don't involve penises falling apart with disease. All right, buddy. It's been great though. Thanks for the education.
Bye.
Thank you for the edutainment.
Oh, bye.
Yep, didn't have a whole lot of friends.
Yeah, there's not a lot of people in Texas. Only 28 million.
But anyway, Peter Sutcliffe got married.
Oh, he did?
Well, he found a wife, yes.
Oh, damn, okay.
Although Sonia Zerma was not, by anyone's definition, a prize catch.
Aw, I saw pictures of her. I actually thought she was surprisingly cute from her description.
Cute, yes, but with a horrible personality.
He's riddled with VD.
Shy to the point of haughtiness and eternally unamused by the common rabble, Sonia responded to Peter Sutcliffe's shitty attitude toward life almost immediately, and the short, lumpy Afro-Czechoslovakian fell in love.
That's what it takes.
Oh.
Your shittiness has to align with the other person's shittiness. So
Totally.
he met him. The way it seemed to really go down is that he had one of his standard, like, they met up, he silently stared at the table, and she just sat next to him. And then afterwards, because she was just supposed to, like, she went with, like, a girlfriend of a friend of his to, like, hook them up together. And they're all like, well, this was a fucking disaster. And then afterwards, she's like, I think I like him.
I mean, you know, if you can get your VD to line up with another person's VD, then you lock. And then you're married forever.
Well, from what the rest of the Sutcliffe family said, Sonia would do nothing all day but literally twiddle her thumbs in silence. And when she finally did speak, she did so in a high-strung whisper that was usually in order to get her a cup of tea.
I can't name the person that I know that does this. But there is a type of person that I just can't stand. Maybe it's because I'm so loud.
Yeah.
And my family is loud. And so when people do the thing where they go like, can I just have a cup of tea? Like they are specifically like low talking in a way that seems to be a comment on how loud I am. You know what I mean?
Well, maybe it's one of those strange ironies where to cut above the loud Italian Zabrowski family, you actually have to go underneath to penetrate the ear.
No, we don't trust those people. Those people are they're whispering fucking secrets.
This is a paid ad by BetterHelp. You know, stigma shows up in a lot of different places. I know I had to explain to my handyman about the devil imagery in my home. I had to explain that in our home, El Diablo es bueno. And he reluctantly agreed. I think largely just because he was in my home and he was scared. But over time, he began to see, the devil can be my amigo. See, even in 2026, stigma can get in the way of a lot of things, right? My handyman almost didn't put up my floating media cabinet, right? You got to get support for your mental health. Maybe you've encouraged friends to consider therapy while avoiding taking the first step yourself because you're busy, worried what others will think, or telling yourself you should handle it alone. No, you need a team. Get therapy with BetterHelp, the world's largest online therapy platform. Give me a space to slow down and talk through what's building before it feels unmanageable. So let's take a short questionnaire to identify your needs and preferences, and BetterHelp will handle the initial therapist matching work for you. Their industry-leading match rate means BetterHelp typically gets it right the first time. Feel confident knowing BetterHelp therapists work according to a strict code of ethics and are fully qualified. So don't let hesitation hold you back. Find support with BetterHelp. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/lastpod. That's betterhelp.com/lastpod.
Hey weirdos, I'm Elena.
And I'm Ash, and we are the hosts of Morbid Podcast.
Each week we dive into the dark and fascinating world of true crime, spooky history, and the unexplained.
From infamous killers and unsolved mysteries to haunted places and strange legends, we cover it all with research, empathy, humor, and a few creative expletives.
It's smart, it's spooky, and it's just the right amount of weird.
2 new episodes drop every week, and there's even a bonus once a month.
Find us wherever you listen to podcasts. Yay! Woo!
You know that thing where you get an amazing pair of shoes at a really great price and want to tell everyone about it? Yeah, so do we. Here at Designer Shoe Warehouse, we'll give you something to brag about. Like the latest styles from brands you love, or the trends everyone's obsessing over, or shoes that make you feel like, well, you. So go ahead, show off a little. Find shoes that get you at prices that get your budget. Head to your DSW store or DSW.com today. DSW, let us surprise you.
When Peter's sister Maureen had a baby, Sonia and Peter paid a visit. And while Peter was reportedly good enough with the infant, he was a pretty standard uncle, Sonia dropped it to the ground the moment the baby started crying.
Touchdown! Well, I mean, so she was not a mother.
No, she was definitely not a mother. But at the very least, like, plenty of people who aren't parents don't instinctively drop a baby the moment it starts crying.
I mean, no. I mean, sometimes you toss it.
I think you can't shake it.
We know that. Get it out. Get away from it.
Get this out of here. Get this fucking away from me. Yeah.
And from what Mick Sutcliffe said, Sonia, quote, looked like a fucking horse.
But that seems to be a brother thing.
That seems to be a brother, because Mick used to fucking just pick at Peter.
Yeah, I don't like this Mick guy. So far, he's just got a quiet girlfriend. He's a quiet guy who has a strange fascination with VD, including his own. But for the most part, it seems like this is the match for him.
Well, it's going to blossom, and I think that's very similar. I get a lot of Brudos vibes from Sutcliffe. So the wife, in his arrangement, creating the veneer of a normal family man will allow the other side of him to develop further.
I
like
see.
In a strange way. There's something about creating this kind of an umbrella of quote unquote, like, look, I'm normal, I got a wife, I do all my shit, I would never be able to do all these other things. And his brother was looking to destroy whatever it is that he had, because he didn't want him to feel good about a single thing that happened to him. And also Peter Sutcliffe then antagonistically chose Sonia, because everybody was so down on her and talking about how she was gross and mean and stuck up and bad, and they didn't like hanging out with her. And he's just like, well, now I double like her, because he is an antagonistic personality as well.
So just a very immature version of love, and just like an immature version of like what he thought reality should be.
Oh yeah, and
the world.
And she didn't even really seem to like him that much. But Sonia also never really liked anyone except her sister. Because when Peter told a story, you know, the way he told it, he was one of those guys that, like, he can't stop laughing at his own jokes. Like, he cracks himself up so much that he just never stops laughing. He would turn a 5-minute story into a 20-minute ordeal.
Listen, hey, I gotta get one for you. All right, listen.
Yeah.
It's too good. It's too good, buddy.
Yeah, what is it?
You're trying to get a bit. Wait, you gotta hear this before you go and get a bit.
Yeah.
All right, buddy, listen.
We'll just get on with it. I can't.
I'm thinking about how you're gonna be when I say this thing.
No, I know.
You're gonna be all over it. What happened when Cinderella finally got to the ball? Listen here, you're gonna love it. What happened when Cinderella, you remember?
Yeah, she went to the ball and she saw
She went to the ball and she finally got to the ball, right?
Yeah, but
what happened when Cinderella finally got to the ball?
Well, she saw the prince, but then it turned to be midnight.
No, listen. You're gonna love it. She gagged.
I see the ball.
That would take 20 minutes.
Worth it. Actually, pretty good punchline overall. Better than the wool conversation we were having earlier.
But the only thing that would make him stop was a scold and a glare from Sonia. She hated it.
It's love.
I guess.
It's the yin and yang, baby.
Then it was discovered in 1972 that Sonia was also schizophrenic in addition to being a wildly unpleasant person.
But this shit kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, they kind of had this kind of wishy-washy thing, and she was very paranoid and distrustful of people to begin with. But then something clicked inside of her, which I guess it does emerge quite a bit in your mid-20s.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. She started bursting into violent fits of rage, convinced that she was the second coming of Christ, complete with stigmata.
Really?
Yeah. Huh. When Peter would visit her in the hospital, she thought he was an airplane and would screech shrill demands for, quote, a bigger teddy bear.
Wait, she thought he was an airplane?
Totally fucking lost her mind. Went way off the deep end.
But is that even normal? She thought he was a fucking airplane? What, did he walk in with, did he make an airplane noise when he walked in?
He didn't help because when he saw her at the hospital, he'd go, time to open up the hangar. And then, coming in, you know.
It's ridiculous.
But strangely, Peter stuck by Sonia every step of the way, showing extraordinary patience and care. Although this was probably, as Henry said, him laying the groundwork for a quote-unquote normal life.
Okay.
But even though it seems like Sonia was not the type of woman who could hook two men at once, she still stepped out on Peter in 1969.
I go and I found myself a bus to fuck. That is just another man.
That year, Mick saw Sonia riding around in a sports car with a mysterious Italian man. And of course, Mick mercilessly made fun of his brother for it.
He's a chef. His name is Boyardi. He is a brilliant man, and his mustache tickles me downstairs.
Wow. I feel like if I was going to be a fake name, I would Ricardo Marlboro.
That's actually a cool fake name.
That's actually pretty good. I like that.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
What about like Ricardo Marlboro Jr.?
I like that. You come from a long family.
I don't fucking like my dad. I don't like my dad. Aren't you a Junior Thomas? Henry Thomas Jr.?
I am Henry Thomas Zabrowski Jr., yes.
Well, since Sonia was having her own affair, Peter decided to respond in kind. Although, as we know, he did not have the social skills necessary to just go pick up a woman in the bar.
Uh-oh, I see where this is going.
Yep. Instead, Sutcliffe decided to visit the girls soliciting on Lum and Manningham Lanes, which was the popular spot in Bradford when it came to a paid sexual encounter.
Now, if you want to go down and find one of the largest sex workers in all of Yorkshire, you're going to want to check out Lum. Yeah, it's a street that sounds like it's got cancer.
Come on down to Lum. There's only one woman left, and it's me. They call me the Lum Woman.
I love
and
you,
I'm
Lum Woman.
500 pounds, please. 500 pounds a tug and suck.
That's great. I love all the ladies at Lum. They've got great breasts, butts, and phlegm.
Unfortunately, though, this visit would have dire consequences.
And this showed if shit was just legal, if sex work was legal, I think that this is the way to go about it. I don't know how you could navigate this within your own relationship parameters, but it's actually better if, I mean, this is bad to say this, but if you're going to step outside, it'd be better to have it with a professional, so all of a sudden that person doesn't have a bunch of evidence that you're cheating on them and it's just going to destroy your whole life.
Did you feel the psychic vice grip on your testicles as you were saying that sentence from your wife?
I'm happily married.
You say it 5 times in the mirror, otherwise it's not true.
I'm incredibly happily married, and my balls are empty thanks to my beautiful wife.
All right, we don't need to know about all that.
One night, Peter drove to Manningham Lane and picked up a woman after confirming what business she was about.
Oh, so you're not in the shrimp sales, huh? I thought this might have been a shrimp exchange. Never mind.
But, as Peter said, he couldn't do it after realizing, quote, what a coarse and vulgar person she was.
All right. So he also has... Is this the beginning of seeing them as lesser and seeing them as like...
Oh, yeah.
So he's going down that... He's going kind of like Gary Ridgway.
He is, in my mind, incredibly attracted to sex workers in general. Yeah. And what you were saying before, where it's like he is sexually engaged, which is a function of this relationship, of the paying for it. Yeah, I thought he was, right? And he sees these women of the night, he views them as just totally available, and that they should be so lucky to get to sleep with him, blah, 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 these kind of views. They get into his car. He starts to have the reality of it come in as she begins to say, this costs money, this is what we're going to do. She begins the negotiations.
Right.
And that's when a switch turns on in his brain of like he had some magical shit fuck nerd idea that she was going to come in the car and I guess like blow him for free, thinking that all of this was going to be like some kind, like she would look at his hair and be like, I want to see if the curtains match the drapes. And then like see if she opens up his fucking pants and see if his bush is fucking 2 feet high.
Right, full of
that's
pomade.
not how it goes.
No, it's interesting. A lot of people, like, it's the equivalent of saying you read Playboy for the articles.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as being like, I go to sex workers for the conversation. I don't even look at them
People
sexually.
do that, though, but you got to pay them
You
for the
still
conversation.
you still have to pay.
Well, he thought it was going to be this grand romantic encounter, and it ended up being a very mechanical type of transaction.
Mm-hmm.
And even so, he still made it back to her place and got to the point where the unnamed woman was naked. She said it was a $5 for sex, but all Peter had on him was a 10-pound note. She claimed to not have change.
I mean, you're fucking, what do you think? You think she's gonna have change. She is nude. Do you think she has one of those coin belts on her? No,
yes,
she
pull my
doesn't
finger,
have fucking change.
Pull my finger and a couple of coins pop out.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
See, and that's going to cost you 10. For me to do my old $5 bit, you're going to have to give me 10.
Just a little. They're never going to have change.
Never going to have change.
You never ask, can you break this 100?
Can you imagine
believe
that?
it or not, they can't. And they're going to keep that 100.
So she got dressed and went to the garage across the street while Peter waited in his car. But suddenly, 2 men appeared from the garage and started banging on Peter's roof, telling him to fuck off. The scam was in. So Peter sped away, humiliated and outraged, more because he wasn't able to get back at Sonia for her dalliance with the Italian man than for losing the $5 to a wily lady of the night.
So he just went back like harumph, like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, and then also, fully blue-balled in all experiences, and he doesn't understand because he's a fucking shithead.
Right.
That he got scammed. But also, he didn't do it right.
Yeah.
Adding to this humiliation was the fact that Peter had left his new industrial job early that night to have this experience. And because of his negligence, several of his coworkers almost died because Peter wasn't there to do his job.
It was like it was a big old fuck up.
Yeah.
And so he did everything bad. He's not a bright human being. He was a very, what we've said.
Of course.
Then, a few days later, Peter saw the woman who'd stiffed him, and so he asked for his money back.
I mean, I think the problem was she didn't stiff him. New York Times best-selling authors.
That's about pegging.
Yeah, you got it.
Instead of giving him the money back, she started telling everyone on the street about how the boy wanted a refund, and the whole goddamn neighborhood had a good laugh at Peter's expense.
Because it's ridiculous.
It's stupid. I mean, but it's humiliation on top of humiliation on top of humiliation, and at every point, it is his fault. But he's blaming everybody else for it.
It's not a Kinko's. She didn't print the paper wrong. It's a sex worker. You're not going to get a refund.
She tried to fuck you. She would have still fucked you despite your head, despite what your fucking dick smells like. She would have still had sex with you, but he didn't want to deal with it because it came down to these kind of Robert Hansen-esque little butt baby freakouts where because these are not that big of humiliations either.
No.
Because you fucked up on your own job and then you fucked up dealing with a sex worker, and so you are entirely at fault. But of course, he Elliot Rodgers it. So everything is everybody else.
I can see myself at the bar with a buddy as he walks in and be like, I demand a refund. And we'll just be like, Hey, Teresa, that guy's trying to get some money off you, huh? You fuck him up? Yeah, it's like, yeah, I fucked him up. Of course I did. Like, that guy is one of the dumbest people I've ever seen in my life.
It's like, oh, it'd be weird to meet someone who's like, oh, you want a refund? No, don't worry about it. Let me just shit all that cum out. Scrape it up. There you go. And it's like, thank you. And thank you very much for giving me my baby's back. And then his fucking cock would eat up the semen like it was a dog eating a bunch of farmer's dog.
Oh, I love
incredible, well-made artisanal meals for your dog.
It's food so good, your children will want to eat it because you're not taking care of them.
Well, Peter did what men of his ilk often do. He turned the humiliation and anger he felt toward one woman into hatred for all women who did sex work. Although his first violent act towards a woman would be focused on the perpetrator of his first humiliation. Not too long after the incident on the street, Peter was parked in his car with his friend Trevor Birdsall, eating fish and chips after a night out at the pub.
Just smell that car. Just hammering fish and chips in 1968 or something. What is this, the 70s?
This is 69. From what Trevor said, Peter was eating when suddenly his demeanor changed and he slipped out of the car. 10 minutes later, Peter returned out of breath and told Birdsall to drive away as fast as he could. And once they were away, Peter said he saw the woman who'd scammed him, so he followed her and hit her in the head with a piece of brick stuffed into a sock.
So Peter Sutcliffe actually talked about this move quite often. Because he had his, like, at this point, he'd built a little bit of a group of boys that kind of sort of put up with and listened and sort of laughed at his stories. Because he used to tell them all the time, I fuck them all the time. I fuck these girls all the time, and they never make me pay, which was never true. Like, he never did that once. And then he also brought up several times, like, you ever need a quick old whack him up. You go in there and you fucking put it up and you take your fucking, you get a sock and you put it in your pocket and you can put up a rock and put in things. So he was obsessed with this little weapon.
Yeah.
Okay, so he was a bit of a man about town in his own weird world.
In his own weird world, yes. Now, the woman was rattled, but relatively unscathed, considering what Peter would work his way up to. And she'd written down the registration on Birdsall's car as the two men had driven away. Eventually, the assault was traced to Peter, and the cops gave him a stern talking to.
Oh, a stern. Yep. oh my God, stern speaking with.
That's very embarrassing. Because think about how embarrassing a stern talking to a police officer is versus all of Yorkshire going, all you just imagining them all laughing at you again and again and again.
Yeah. But nothing more happened. They just gave him a stern talking to, don't do it again.
He beat a woman with a brick and a sock.
Yeah.
And it's a stern talking to?
That's a stern talking to,
okay,
yep.
Maybe a little bit more heightened than that.
Well, it's because we're seeing the very beginnings of how they view the sex worker and how they view how serious those crimes are towards them.
Yes, absolutely.
Later that year, Peter had another run-in with the police when he was found crouching in the garden in the middle of the night, clutching a hammer.
And of course, he was charged with the very interesting crime of just not gardening.
It's not that I'm not gardening, but I'm thinking about flowers. Does that work? I turn into Forrest Gump for no reason.
Yeah, time for another stern talking to. I'm going to get Detective Ventura over here to speak to you with his butt. Oh, New York Times bestselling authors.
Well, 3 years after that, it's thought that Peter Sutcliffe may have attempted his first murder, although Peter himself never fessed up to it.
So we have 3 years after the first assault of the sex worker.
Yeah.
That's a pretty long... He was just stewing?
This happens. It's different for every serial killer, but Peter Sutcliffe it's pretty common where they give themselves allowances and they just slowly work their way up to the murder. Very few of the people that we've covered start straight up with big fucking horrible murder. And Peter Sutcliffe is one of those guys that just it's just little by little by little.
Well, Ed Kemper, where you're visualizing what you're going to do again and again and again. You sit and you think about it. Each time you do it, you start maybe fleshing out your own fantasy more and more. Maybe you start talking more to the girls on the street because they said that he had a reputation. They knew him. So he was around already. So he would come and he would chat up everybody and get into the world. And he started kind of feeling like, and maybe he had a little bit of good feelings a little bit, where they started kind of like talking with him, but he all in the back of his head, he knew each one of them was going to not give him change. And he did not like it. So he slowly, it would flesh out. And then all it takes is the one step forward to physicalize the fantasy.
Well, in 1972, a 19-year-old typist in Westgate said she was followed after she left the pub one night. Once she was in a secluded area, a stranger grabbed her from behind, punched her in the back of the head, and pushed her into a wall. But before things went from bad to worse, the attacker was chased away by a guard from a nearby prison. Now, this wasn't necessarily Peter's M.O., but the woman said that when Peter Sutcliffe was caught, she was absolutely sure he was her attacker. Although at the time, all she could say was that the assailant looked like Cat Stevens.
Well, if anybody was more specific looking than Peter Sutcliffe, besides Mr. Potato Head, I don't know how he committed these crimes for as long as he did.
I just feel bad for Cat Stevens. I mean, he's getting accused of being this man. He couldn't travel after 9/11. No. And now all of a sudden
not
he's
his
been accused of
fucking
being
name anymore. He's not Cat Stevens anymore.
Well, he changed the name.
He's like Dog Billy now. What's his
Yusef
name?
Islam.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely not Dog Billy, because I'm pretty sure he would be allowed with welcome arms after 9/11 if his name was Dog Billy.
Well, 2 years later, Peter may have escalated once more. That year, a 28-year-old woman named Gloria Wood was hit in the head with a hammer by a man who had a similar Cat Stevens look. Then, in 1975, a 14-year-old in Silsden said that she was attacked by a man who called himself Tony Jennis, and when he rained blows on her head and face with a heavy object, he made a grunting sound similar to that of famous tennis player Jimmy Connors.
I looked up some Jimmy Connors, and it is a lot of the tennis noises are weird, man.
Mr. Connors, I don't know if it's illegal what you're doing, but your opponent has said you're distracting him with sounds of orgasm. Could you please grunt like a man?
Oh, you're right. I'll grunt like a man. Like how men grunt.
Yeah, of course.
Now, these aren't confirmed Peter Sutcliffe cases, as the Cat Stevens look was apparently pretty popular in the UK in the early 70s.
Just, we can stop maligning Cat Stevens.
I'm not
He had some
maligning
very
Cat
powerful
Stevens.
songs.
There's plenty of people with cats. I mean, the Cat Stevens look was just the Cat Stevens look. Bearded, big bushy beard.
Yeah, but with the soft spot for his father. You guys not understanding Cat?
He wasn't there. He was always working, Kissel.
I know!
What is confirmed, however, is that Peter Sutcliffe's criminal M.O. was established in 1975. Now, by 1975, Peter Sutcliffe had already been married to Sonia Zerma for a year, and the two of them were living under the roof of Sonia's parents. But neither the family nor Sonia would ever suspect that Peter was the infamous Yorkshire Ripper. That summer, Peter attacked two women named Anna Rogulski and Olive Smelt. With Anna, Peter followed her for days, running off every time she noticed the man with the, quote, racing eyes and dainty hands.
Some of us we just look like that.
Yeah. Damn, so he wasn't even, I guess, he wasn't really good at this sneaking.
No.
Well, you'll see. He grows because it becomes more and more attractive to him.
But on July 4th, 1975, Peter took his first real step into serial killing, smashing Anna's head 3 times with a ball-peen hammer before he lifted her skirt and began slashing at her stomach. He was just about to plunge the knife into her flesh for the killing blow when a man down the street called out asking what was happening. Peter ran, but strangely, the man who called out didn't check on the woman lying on the ground. Rather, Anna wasn't discovered for another hour, and doctors worked on her in surgery for half a day to remove all the splinters of bone from her brain. She survived, but had no memory of what had happened.
Damn.
5 weeks later, Peter tried again with Olive Smelt, his first sex worker victim of many. That night, Peter and Trevor Birdsall were again out drinking, this time in Halifax. But as they were on their way back to Bradford, Peter suddenly got out of the car.
This seems to be one of his first triggering mechanisms where I think that, in my mind, I mean, this is totally fiction, but I imagine Peter and Trevor are hanging out, and Sutcliffe is running his mouth, as always, and he is talking himself up about how he loves to fuck, every single thing that he does, like how the women love him and how no one will respect him because basically this is he's acting like the guy. And then that night, I think in a weird way, it almost starts us of a way to like show off for his friends.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, Peter had spotted a woman turning down an alleyway, so he slipped out of the car, somehow carrying a hammer and a hacksaw without Birdsall seeing it.
And these friends seem a little bit like blinders on.
Yeah, dude.
Come on.
And so Sutcliffe followed Olive Smelt into the darkness. And after mumbling some pleasantries about the weather, Sutcliffe struck her twice in the back of the head with the hammer before dragging the hacksaw blade across the small of her back. Olive's life was only saved by approaching headlights, and when Peter got back to the car, he said nothing to Trevor. And Birdsall saw the news of the attack the next day. He knew that Peter Sutcliffe had done it.
Oh, he did know.
He knew, but he said
he knew.
He said nothing. He said out of loyalty to his friend.
I mean, this is where the loyalty. I love my boys. I love my boys, but this is where the loyalty, I think, would stop for me. I know that
I mean, you can still talk to him in prison, but you got to put him behind bars.
I'll hang out, man. I'll support during the trial and being like, I should have stopped you, huh? Like, I would do some of that, but I also would be like, you'd be like, I think you stepped too far. My whole thing is that if you call, like, one of you murder somebody, the protocol, I just need an explanation that I can apply to my own brain.
Sure, sure.
So that I can help you hide a body if I have to.
She said that Dune was for fat nerds. And I said, no.
Where's the body?
Yeah.
Let me see her. No, I'm not going to. No, that is not excusable. It has to be something like, that was my corn that she ate.
Oh, so he is like getting validation, not just from the cops who gave him a stern talking to, but from his friends who are like, oh, this is again another reminder of how sex workers have been demeaned through time and why we need to have it up and in the daylight.
Legalize it.
Absolutely.
Legalize it.
But because Birdsall said nothing, Peter Sutcliffe was successful in murder for the first of 13 times on October 29th, 1975. That night, Peter picked up Wilma McCann in the city of Leeds as she staggered home from a night of drinking. She got in his car and asked if he wanted some business, and he replied that he did. So they drove to a field and parked. They talked for a minute, but her tone suddenly changed, pretty much saying, let's get on with it.
Yeah, if we're doing this, let's do this.
Yeah.
Now, Peter said when he couldn't get aroused immediately, McCann called him useless and said she didn't have all fucking day, which of course brought Peter's rage to the forefront.
You got one job. We're utility. The penis is a utility tool.
Yeah.
If you
I thought you were horny enough to fuck me and you just saw me on the side of the street. So, like, I got to get back to my rags. And this is the UK, so she's got to go and she got to knit rags, and she's got to go and buff the floor of a castle. There's so many jobs for a nighttime person then.
Peter suggested that maybe they'd have better luck trying it out on the grass. So McCann exasperatedly complied and got out of the car. While her back was turned, Peter grabbed his hammer from his back seat. By the time he got to the spot McCann had chosen, she'd already started undoing her pants, saying, let's get this over with. Peter said, don't worry, I will, and struck her hard in the head with the hammer twice. She fell flat on her back and made a loud, horrible gurgling noise, and her arm began to move up and down voluntarily from the blow to the head.
Oof.
So Sutcliffe walked back to the car, grabbed a knife, and stabbed her over and over again in a blind panic, making certain that Wilma McCann would never tell a soul what he'd done.
Now, we know that he is process and product killers. He is a process killer.
Mm-hmm.
So what he would do is, this one I think you could see that he panicked and stabbed her and stabbed her and stabbed her, but obviously he was getting something out of it as well. And they said that they probably, you can imagine, the sexual act was him stabbing her, and he probably, they said most times he would then masturbate over the corpse.
Oh, he did that stuff.
To get it out. That's how he would finally finish it, right? That's how, but then it would be like out of his system, right? Then he'd be gone. And that's the difference.
4 months later, in January, Peter Sutcliffe came across Emily Jackson. Jackson was also in sex work, and Sutcliffe claimed that it was the smell of her cheap perfume that made him decide to commit murder that night.
She's not wearing the good stuff for a John.
She's not going to waste the good stuff on your fucking ass. And you are,
Of course. Like
I hate these types of dudes because you could have just had sex.
Yeah. Sutcliffe picked her up at about 7 p.m., parked behind some derelict industrial buildings in the city center, and pretended his car was broken down. He asked her if she could help him pop the hood, and as she looked at the engine with a cigarette lighter, Sutcliffe struck her twice in the back of the head with his hammer. He then dragged the body into a trash-filled yard and stabbed Jackson 52 times with a Phillips head screwdriver before picking up a piece of wood, which he thrust between her legs as a strange and pathetic gesture of disgust for Jackson's lifestyle.
Now, this is where he hones in and discovers what he really likes. He likes the multiple, because what do you know when somebody's been stabbed more than once? This is a rage crime. This is somebody who's doing this again and again, because this takes some energy.
Yeah,
and
a frickin'
it's
screwdriver?
exactly the same. He immediately adopted an MO, which is, it became very ritualistic, because the first time he killed with a hammer, used a hammer, the hammer was accidental. And then it became an immediate, almost kind of like, this is what I do. Like, I adopt these things. These are my tools. And I'm not certain why.
I really don't know why he chose the hammer. I think he just chose the hammer in particular. It is definitely an instrument of rage.
It works.
It is. Like when you are hitting someone in the head with a hammer, like that takes a lot of rage to fucking do that.
And I guess it also kind of hides in plain sight. People have hammers in their car.
Yeah.
It's just a hammer.
That's true. It's not a big fucking butcher's knife. It's not a gun. And he already works in vaguely kind of there's hammers around.
Yeah, I feel like every guy until 1994 just had a hammer because your father would just buy you a toolkit, and for some reason you had to keep it in your car. And you never opened it ever.
Yeah, I only have a hammer because for a while Adult Swim was giving Christmas gifts in the shapes of tools, and I literally have an Adult Swim hammer that has just become my hammer,
which I had tried to use, and it's more of a prop.
I use my Adult Swim hammer all the time.
It's not exactly great.
It's a great hammer.
It's a good hammer. It's a useful hammer.
Sure.
Well, after the murder, Sutcliffe returned to his in-laws' house without a drop of blood on his clothes, filled with a sense of satisfaction and justification for what he believed he'd accomplished. Now, Sonia spent Wednesday and Saturday nights working at a nursing home with her mother, and they never returned until the next morning, which gave Peter ample time to prowl the streets of Bradford 2 nights a week looking for another victim.
And she'd come home and see him sleeping till 4 p.m., and she's like, he works so hard, thinking that he was been working all night, and that's why he's tired.
Right.
His next was Marcella Claxton, attacked just a few months after Emily Jackson, but Claxton survived. The problem was that Claxton had an IQ around 50, and the police did not believe her when she reported the crime. But still, her survival spooked Peter enough where he didn't try again until the following year. In February of 1977, he picked up Irene Richardson and drove her to almost the same spot where he'd killed Wilma McCann. And strangely, Gordon Byrne, the author of Somebody's Husband, Somebody's Son, made sure to point out that this spot was only a short distance from the home of infamous pedophile Jimmy Savile.
Yeah, and he's just out there watching, jerking off, having a great time. Say his house is Christmas themed, 24 hours a day, 365 a week. So that was probably also very creepy. That was probably creepy for Peter Sutcliffe.
Honestly, that is disgusting. Jimmy Savile. Would we ever cover him?
Maybe.
It's nasty.
My goal is to cover him, but it's going to be a couple of juicy ones.
It's nasty.
It's difficult.
Yeah.
But in any case, once they arrived at their destination, Irene got out of the car to urinate. As she was crouched...
You're going to want to use that tombstone over there. I have seen so many people take peas on that tombstone.
As she was crouched, Sutcliffe took his hammer and struck her so severely that, according to forensics, Sutcliffe had to lever out the tool to get clear of the bone.
Oh.
He then slashed her throat, leaving a gaping wound, and tore a 7-inch gash on the left side of the abdomen, causing the intestines to spill out on the ground. Rolling her over, Sutcliffe then arranged the corpse. He stuffed her pants and tights into her knee-high boots and draped them across the back of her thighs, and covered the spilled intestines with leaves and twigs before driving away, leaving the corpse to be found the next morning by what else but a jogger.
I thought you were going to say Jimmy Savile.
No.
So he's getting like kind of Titus with it. He's like trying to make art. Is that what he's doing here?
What he's trying to do, it's the same thing as Jack the Ripper, where he's arranging the body to freak out whoever finds it.
Right.
Whoever he wants, because he wants to traumatize someone again, and then traumatize them again when like the cops have to come in.
Right.
With the first cuts, the ravaging of the corpse comes from, that's him getting off. In my mind, it is an instinctual fucking like stab, full on total destruction of the corpse. Pause. You just shoot. You come. Right? You all of things that happen. The fucking that sort of flurry of activity clears, and then it's like, all right, now it's time for something completely different to take something from Monty Python.
Well, it was with this murder that the press finally began to get involved, printing sensationalistic headlines like Jack the Ripper Murder Horror and Ripper Hunted in Call Girl Murders.
So he got everything that he wanted. Why is it that the media, this is why we do a good job here, not to pat ourselves on the back, but like we should call this guy like the leaky turd killer. I don't know what to call him, but just like don't call him something that makes him seem like fucking Jack the Ripper's, crazy demonic son.
Mm-hmm.
They got to sell news. They got to sell them papes. Because if not, those newsboys get turned into fucking dog food for the king's Rottweilers.
Yeah, that's probably true.
And it was also with this murder that the police began their complete and total bungling of the entire investigation from beginning to end. See, when it comes to a murder investigation, it's important to keep an open mind, especially when it comes to serial murders. But the police in this situation seemed hell-bent on narrowing their field of vision as much as possible from the very beginning. I suppose, I know the instinct is to find the perpetrator as soon as possible, and the more you narrow things down, the faster you're going to find them, but they completely fucked it up.
I thought you were going to say when it comes to the cops keeping an open mind, they were fine with transgender bathrooms. But apparently that's not the case here.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
And when they began looking for a motive for the murders of Wilma McCann, Emily Jackson, and Irene Richardson, they chose hatred of prostitutes as the number one factor.
Okay.
Now, this was the right call.
Yeah.
But they used the information in all the wrong ways. In thinking about it so narrowly, they only looked at previous attacks where the victim survived involving sex workers. And if you'll remember, none of Peter Sutcliffe's surviving victims who had seen his face were in sex work. Which meant that the cops completely overlooked the Cat Stevens character who'd showed up again and again in previous local attacks. They could have seen a pattern, but they didn't.
They also, I'm going to say straight up, weaponized their ignorance with certain, witness testimony. Like Marcella Claxton. Marcella was a little bit, they think that she might have been a bit mentally handicapped. And so they immediately did not believe anything that she said. They're like, well, you don't know what you're talking about. And then they said several things to anybody that there's something about, but when you see several times, like Cat Stevens killed me, and we're not even going to talk to Cat Stevens once.
I don't think we need to bother Cat Stevens. He is busy singing to a group of kids in Portland. He is not killing a bunch of sex workers in the UK.
Well, Marcella, she was also taken out of the pile because she hadn't been attacked with a knife, even though she had been attacked with a hammer. And as far as the cops were concerned, if a knife wasn't involved, it wasn't a Yorkshire Ripper case.
Yeah, that's a little narrow.
Well, the only thing is, to be fair, they had very little knowledge about the idea of serial murder and the idea of escalation. And so they were just trying to wrap this shit up, being like, we just need to get this whole thing. He's trying to kill prostitutes. We got to get him. And because they are just fucking I don't know, man.
no
It's
idea
fucking
what to
Yorkshire. I don't know. They ran out of puddings.
Yeah.
Well, it was around this time that Peter got a job as a truck driver working for an engineering transport firm called T&WH Clark. There, his coworkers found him odd because he kept all his truck pornography neat and tidy, instead of plastering the walls of his truck cabin with centerfolds like everyone else did. That's why they thought he was weird.
I mean,
yeah, they thought he was being like some fancy asshole.
I just feel like this is not just an indictment on Sutcliffe. The whole town. So we got, most people are like, he's kind of weird. He doesn't take a shit on graves at all. And then this guy's like, he doesn't even come on the paper on the walls. He keeps it in the little
That's
thing
what
called
it's
a
here for.
magazine.
You're supposed to be coming on the paper because then you can crumple it up and you can come right in their brain. But he was so happy to become a truck driver because his whole thing was that, look at how big my truck is.
Yeah.
Like, he loved cars so much that finally he's a part of this. He has this 250,000 pound, like the money worth fucking 18-wheeler. And he just thought, it's right. Put that in a vagina, I bet. You know what I mean? He just loves his big old truck.
There was a time where being a trucker was the coolest job you could have, over the top.
Yeah, we got a great big convoy.
Absolutely. We got a convoy.
Across the USA.
Yeah.
We know.
Meanwhile, sex workers in Leeds were starting to work in pairs, with some leaving the area altogether for nearby Manchester or down south to London. Tina Atkinson, however, took no such precautions. On April 23rd, 1977, she was drunk, banging on the roofs of cars and shouting fuck off when people drive away.
Oh, she's having fun.
Yeah, she's looking for business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, as Tina was banging on car roofs, she came across the vehicle of Peter Sutcliffe, and they soon ended up back at her apartment. She got on the bed, and Peter hit her 4 times with a hammer, knocking her to the floor. He then pulled her back up to the bed and clawed her exposed torso with a hammer before stabbing her in the stomach and covering up as much of her blood as he could with her bed sheets. As he was driving off, he threw the hammer out of his car window. But instead of ending up in the hands of the police, the hammer was used by a local groundskeeper as a regular part of his tool set for the next 3 years.
There is no such thing as a free lunch or free hammer. So please.
But it was with Sutcliffe's next victim that he would bring the attention of the entire country to Leeds. On June 26, 1977, the Yorkshire Ripper claimed a 16-year-old shop clerk named Jane MacDonald.
Which, of course, is exactly why people start paying attention to it as soon as you start killing what they view as an innocent.
Well, that night, Peter had gone to a gay bar called the Dog and the Pound with a couple of friends.
Now, what's gay about that?
But Peter had left in a huff after refusing to buy a round when it was his turn. Which, when it comes to fucking going out and drinking with the British, that's fucking cardinal sin right there.
Yeah, of course it is. What's wrong with this guy?
At 2 a.m., as he was driving home, he saw Jane walking down the street. Assuming she was a lady of the night, Sutcliffe parked his car, grabbed his hammer and knife, and got out, following MacDonald along Chapeltown Road. Once he got close, he struck her in the head and dragged her to a nearby playground. Once they were off the road, he hit her 2 more times, then pulled up her shirt and stabbed her in the chest and back, stabbing one wound in particular as many as 20 times, over and over again.
This is with the knife or the screwdriver?
Knife. He's moved on to a knife.
Good Lord.
And then what he would do is the weirdest, the thing that was highly specific to him, where he would make a stab wound and then stick the knife back into the same wound and stab in multiple different directions inside of one wound, making it bigger and bigger. And it's nothing could be more of straight up mimicking of the sexual act than that. Like, it's the psychology is so on top of it, which showed how not in touch he was to his own feelings, that it was like happening instinctually with his hands. He was literally just guided by his cock and what it would do for him.
Then he took a broken bottle with the screw top still attached and embedded it in her chest before laying the body on its stomach and walking away, ensuring that whoever turned it over would be faced with just one more brutal discovery. And with Jane MacDonald, the murder investigation went into high gear. Although, as we'll see on next week's episode, the Shit Squad would well and truly live up to their name.
Damn. All right. Peter Sutcliffe. What a man. This dude is. There's slight differences with this story than with previous serial killers we've covered.
No, he's a real fucking piece of shit. This guy. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to step out of school.
I know. Of course.
He's a real piece of shit. And then next week we're gonna hear some more details about him that are, I don't know how to put it. Some of it's shocking, interesting, and unique.
Some of the details that we know about Peter Sutcliffe, it really makes me wonder the sort of personal details about serial killers that homicide investigators have held back over the years. Because we find out, and that we're going to find out in the next episode, like one of the most bizarre details I've ever heard about a serial killer, and it was something that the police held back. They just didn't tell anybody because it wasn't necessary to getting Peter Sutcliffe in prison. So they held it back, and really makes me wonder how many of these little facts that we will never know actually exist.
Well, that'll be on next week's episode of the Yorkshire Ripper. Yorkshire Ripper.
Oh my God.
Part 2. Indeed. Thank you all so much for listening to this episode of The Last Podcast on the Left, and thank you all so much for the unbelievable response to The Last Book on the Left. You guys have been so sweet. Thank you for sending all the pictures on Instagram. I hope you guys are enjoying it. There's some little bit of laughter in there, and there's a whole bunch of unbelievable information. So thank you all so much for supporting us. Honestly, to be on the New York Times bestseller list and the Washington Post bestseller list
and Toronto Star
and the Toronto Star, it's really unbelievable, and it's a labor of love. And so congratulations to Marcus as well.
Thank you.
Obviously all that hard work paid off, and it's hard to be an author because you don't get the immediate gratification, and so it's an interesting time. But just as Drew McIntyre won the WWE Championship without a crowd, so did we. Write a book and have it.
Thank you for bringing it back to wrestling.
It's so fucking great. Like hitting the New York Times bestseller list, much less the top 3, is something I believe to be a fucking unattainable goal for
it's insane.
many fucking years. So
absolutely,
thank you so much for everybody for buying the book, and thank you for continuing to buy the book. If you want to, if you want to get your own copy, see what all the fuss is about, go to indiebound.org and get your own copy. And thank you so much for everyone who's read it and has given us all the fucking kind words. It really was a gigantic labor of love. So
absolutely,
to get something positive back really means a lot. Makes it all worth it.
It's nice
to
be in your homes.
So do that shit. Pick up, get book, indiebound.com. Help it get from your local bookstore. I just bought some books through indiebound.com for our next couple series we have coming up. So I've been trying to support my local bookseller. Also, y'all, we got some special delights coming your way. Check out lastpodcastmerch.com. Buy all of the sizes are restocked. We got new ladies sizes on there. We got all that kind of horse shit.
Yep.
Get up in there, and we're still giving 6.66% to one fair wage of all sales, just to do whatever we can for people whose jobs have been deleted by this invisible enemy.
Absolutely, and of course, this is an awakening moment to realize the real people that keep this country together. A lot of you folks out there right now going through a hard time, we're with you. We wish you the best, and again, we don't know what the future is going to hold as far as even our tour. We don't know. Right now we're just hearing it the same way you're all hearing it. So right now we're planning on August, and we're hoping for the best, and so we'll just keep.
Who knows what the fuck's gonna happen with all this fucking horseshit? And I tell you what, if I could get a crossbow and shoot this fucking virus on the forehead, I would. But the government won't allow me, and they won't show me where it's being held. Because I wish for a fucking fact I would choke this virus to death in its fucking sleep if I could.
Yeah, I know. For 3 control freaks, this is the easiest time ever. All right, everyone.
Feeling good.
All right, we'll keep on laughing. Otherwise, we'll start crying. All right. So, all right, everyone. Thank you all so much for listening. Thank you so much for supporting us and Patreon and all the shows here. Kind of Fun, Top Hat, No Dogs in Space. Just got a great write-up. Page 7 got a great write-up in the Nerdist as well as Last Podcast. So,
thank you, Lord Malici, for that, who's also a very great poet. So thank you very much for writing that piece for us. It was so nice.
Honestly, super cool. All right, everyone, hail yourselves.
Hail Satan.
Again.
Let's do a Magoostilations.
Yeah, I'm going to do very low now, buddy. And hey, man, just make love to the sex worker.
Yeah. Sure. I don't know if
Just
they
make
want
love
that
to 'em.
either. I don't think you're supposed to really kiss them. That depends on the person.
No, you can't. You can get it. If you give them a tip, you can get a kiss.
There's a series of rules that must be followed at all times.
Yeah, you don't need to make love to the sex worker. Have sex with the sex
Have
worker.
fun.
Have
But I
fun.
like to
and go
set
home.
an atmosphere, make her laugh a little bit. I don't know how else you do that. You know what I mean?
You are like honestly, you're a sex worker's nightmare where they're just like, yeah, he just, we didn't have sex. He told me jokes for 5 hours and I laughed.
I gotta fucking, all I'm doing is running material at Wendy.
Yeah, he actually cost me 4 jobs. Usually we just have sex. It takes 25 minutes and I go. But this guy was, either way, his new special is going to be pretty funny.
Does this work? Does this work? I got 5 minutes on, what happened to all the traffic? Oh, okay, let's do something else. What happened to all the restaurants?
That's
Too bad I can only fill up bread so much in my home. All right, that's not working. You're out wet. This show is made possible by listeners like you. Thanks to our ad sponsors, you can support our shows by supporting them. For more shows like the one you just listened to, go to lastpodcastnetwork.com.
Hey, podcast listeners. Mr. Ballin here to let you know we are now publishing 4 times a week on my podcast, Mr. Ballin Podcast, Strange, Dark, and Mysterious Stories. That's right, you'll be getting 4 new episodes a week covering unbelievable mysteries, chilling true crime, and stories so strange they sound made up. But they aren't. They're all true. Don't miss an episode. Listen to and follow Mr. Ballin Podcast, Strange, Dark, and Mysterious Stories wherever you get your podcasts or on YouTube.
This podcast is brought to you by Squarespace. Whether you're just starting out or scaling your business, Squarespace is the all-in-one website platform designed to help your business stand out and succeed online. Squarespace gives you everything you need to offer services and get paid, all in one place. From consultations to events and experiences, showcase your offerings with a customizable website designed to attract clients and grow your business. The best part about it is it can help you design a funnel in which you can very quickly record commercials so that you can get it done while you are desperately trying to get on break. That's the best part about Squarespace. It can really shorten up the time you spend doing things. You got to get in there. Use Squarespace. Man, is it fast. It is absolutely incredible. You're going to love your experience at Squarespace. Head to squarespace.com/left for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use offer code LEFT to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.